Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Medieval Reader. So, I have begun rereading Harry Potter as an adult. I've noticed a few people, particularly Olive and Juan from Just One Reader, this year is the 20th anniversary of the publication of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Actually, in the UK, it's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, but I have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, so I want to reread the entire series this year. I might actually be finishing it in 2018, but I really want to just reread the series and see what I think. I've reread the first book multiple times, but I have not reread the other books in the series. So today I just wanted to do a spoilery chat about my experience rereading this first book as an adult. So I only actually own this first copy because I'm buying a copy a month, just kind of spacing it out. I loved the series when I read it the first time, but I wasn't very young when I first started reading it. I was actually in 7th grade, even though it came out when I was in kindergarten, I think, or maybe 1st grade. I just put off reading it for the longest time, and I think I watched the first movie before I started reading the series. And while I really enjoyed the series, it isn't my favorite. I didn't dislike it, but I've forgotten a lot of the characters, and so that's kind of put me off from buying the whole series. My mom didn't want to buy the series because it was expensive. She wasn't into fandoms, so I got them from the library, and so I waited, months after it came out to read the books. I still enjoyed it, but I'm now buying the books one at a time. I started reading this book after a really difficult day at school, just in the past month, and I needed a break, and I felt like children's literature would be nice. I bought some dragon books too, because I just suddenly feel like reading more light literature. I've been currently reading Origin by Dan Brown, and this was perfect. It actually felt very autumnal. There are ghosts, of course there are witches and wizards, but I think it's particularly the ghosts and the banquets that made me think a lot about autumn. This is my favorite of the series. That's why I've read it so many times. And it felt like a children's book. I recall that her later books feel less and less like children's books. They feel more like they're written for young adults. This one was very whimsical. The characters are caricatures, which I really enjoy in children's literature. My only criticism was the Dursleys. I know that I'm not the only person, but it really did annoy me that weight is presented in the story as an indicator of intelligence and goodness. I don't see the connection, and Rowling should have known better. I mean, overweight children or children who are perceived of being overweight or bullied. They've been bullied forever. Like, why would a children's author do that? That did annoy me a lot. I just wish that he was a more complicated character. I've also wished that about Draco Malfoy. But again, this was a children's book, and so I'm fine with characters that are more or less one-dimensional. I particularly like Hagrid and Ron. I felt like I liked Ron more this time reading the book than in the past. I've always felt a particular affinity toward Hermione, who is a nerd, who loves sitting in the research library, reading all the books. I could relate so much, raising her hand in class all the time. And when my hair was longer, it was super duper poofy. So I could completely relate to Hermione, but I feel like Ron would make a great friend. So I really liked Ron this time. And Hagrid, he's so irresponsible, but he's just a really lovable character. So I like that too. My other criticism, in addition to, my problems with the Dursleys, has to do with the houses. So clearly Rowling likes Gryffindor and does not like Slytherin. And then we hear nothing about Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff, and I wanted more, again, why does she have why would Slytherin be a house that anybody would want to join if it's just a house for racists? I mean, I'd like to think that there are actually students from good families who would belong to Slytherin. Like, I just have so many problems with the way the Slytherin is described in this book. It is a fun book. It's a great, I think it's a classic. It really does have all of the elements of a classic. It's very gripping. It starts to deal with some serious issues, particularly dealing with our desires, with the mirror. And I was thinking to myself, what would I see if I were to look into that mirror? I feel for Draco, you know, that he has such prejudiced parents. I mean, he doesn't have much of a chance. But this first book was really, really fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I hope to continue. Probably in November I will read Chamber of Secrets. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So let me know what you think about the first Harry Potter book, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.